you're digging a hole, and then these like monsters or alligators are coming at you. To get out of it, though, you have to stick a hose to them and blow them up.
It's basically a tire inflator as your weapon.
Right. They'll kill them with a hose attached to their asses until they explode. Welcome to another episode of the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker on this June 29th, 2022. An auspicious.
Is that like delicious?
Apparently, I can't speak with multisyllabic words anymore. An auspicious occasion because it's the day before June 30th, 2022. That's what makes it special. It's also the day after my dad's birthday. But anyway, before we get too much further, I should explain to you all that my name is Matt. Greg is to my right on the screen, and Brendan is below me on the screen, but it may all look different to the rest of you when you look at this. Our client for today is Video Games Killed the Pinball Star.
Behold, trapped in a hellscape of their own invention, socially unaware old white men bound by the pretense of being fake lawyers yet knowing no law, no exquisite Latin terminology, they are inexplicably compelled to quibble over minutia, squabble over triflings, and bicker like those who value their backyards far too highly without even knowing the difference between an easement and an alleyway. At this very moment, you have entered the heart of the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. Let's get started.
New from Matt Hell, a game so revolutionary, it could only be called Beep Boop. There has never been anything like it. Watch as Timmy and Mary play the groundbreaking game Beep Boop.
Beep. Boop. Beep. Boop.
It's so simple, yet so amazing. Kids between the ages of 3.5 and 4 are going wild for Beep Boop. First you beep, then you boop. Scientists are saying that there are no studies to corroborate anything regarding Beep Boop. That's astounding. You might ask, what is Beep Boop? And you'd be right to do so. With Beep Boop, you'll Beep Boop today. Only available at all retail outlets that carry Beep Boop.
I love you so much, Matt Bracci.
What?
I love you. That was so fucking insane, but it was so funny.
It was funny. Beep boop. I like
Beep
it.
boop.
What are you talking about?
I want to play. Let's play on FaceTime when we're done with the podcast.
So you figure out what it is.
Beep boop. I think I got it. I think I can figure it out.
My wife overheard me recording it, and she said she totally lost it when she heard me do like the voices of the kids or something like that. No, it was when it was 3.5 to 4-year-olds.
Well, 3.5, 4.
Yeah, so
that's my favorite sponsor ever.
It's a good one.
Your favorite? Oh, that's just sad.
It was ridiculous. I love it.
Well, since we don't have a guest today, we should just get right into our client for today, which is Video Games Killed the Pinball Star, which makes it kind of a more all-encompassing topic regarding the death of pinball. Well, I guess not really the death of pinball, because pinball still has some popularity, but where pinball was no longer the main source of entertainment at arcades, I guess.
For juvenile delinquents.
Right. Well, older delinquents.
Since I am drinking sake today, I'd like to mention it might have also been the death of pachinko.
I don't know that there was a lot of pachinko arcades in the United States, Greg.
No, but there were in Japan, and I bet they went away too.
I think there's still major pachinko arcades in Japan because that's
really?
Gambling.
Oh, because it's gambling, yeah.
Right, exactly.
But we used to play it for fun. I mean, certain friends had a machine, and we were so enthralled by it. It was so exotic and crazy. It was like, but it wasn't as fun as pinball.
Right, because you didn't have any control over it.
Yeah,
that's the thing where
you just shut up all the balls, just drop all over the place, and they go wherever. It's like a game of chance, which is why it's good for gambling. Mm-hmm. So, are you trying to show us something with your sake cup, Greg? Why don't you describe it to the listeners out there, Greg?
It's an ancient erotic Japanese art, and you can see the woman's boobie.
Right now, he has his penis in the end of the cup, is what he's got.
It would fit
for those of you.
Is that tea? Are we sure it's tea? Are we sure it's tea?
It's not tea, it's sake.
Are we sure it's sake then?
We're not sure
It's
of anything.
warm.
It could be
It's
lube for all
warm.
we know.
Could be.
We don't know that it's warm either.
That's true.
It is warm. It's that
Well,
shit
that's-
sake that you got to warm up. It's really nasty if you don't warm it up. So
Is
even
this
though
the
I'm
kind you-
sweating,
Do you warm it up in the microwave?
yeah,
No, he puts it under his
the
armpits.
right way, yeah, in a microwave.
In a microwave.
I don't have a sake setting on mine. I'm gonna have to check that out.
He put it under the left boob of Andre the Giant.
I could do it under my own boob. I'm getting
Just
some André the Giant sized boobs.
to get it to at least room boob temperature. Anyway, so I was doing a little bit of research into this and I found that the first video game was actually made in the 50s, which was kind of surprising to find out. But that was like the early days of computing, but that wasn't necessarily obviously open to the general public, right? It was mainly for the hardcore computer nerds back in the day.
Would it actually have moving graphics, or was it more like type in 10 if you want to go left? Or
It was like a moving graphic, but it would have been on like some gigantic screen, probably.
so you would
think.
actually control a moving.
You know, I didn't delve into the history of it that deeply, Greg. So I'm sorry I can't answer your question for you. However, there is something that's called Google that you could use to find more details if you want, including the person,
Google.
including the person who invented it, who goes by the name Spanky. That's his official title.
I heard about this on that video game documentary. What was it, like the games that made us or something like that? It was the whole history of video games. And they said that these college kids, they were all like engineering students, whatever. They were just freak out over like fight for the right to play. Like after the school had closed, they had all set it up, and they would just, it was so much fun. And that's the thing.
When did you guys first become aware of video games? When did it come into your peripheral?
It could be Walt Disney World.
intelligence?
I went when I was like 9, and they had on Main Street, they had an arcade, and they had, but I think I knew about Pong before that. I think we might have, Pong came on 73, right? Or 72.
It was like
Yeah.
71, 72, somewhere around there,
Yeah,
and it was an
I think
it
I
was
knew
an
about
arcade game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing it out. My dad bought a machine. I don't remember seeing a Pong arcade game, you know.
Yeah, the first video game was Atari, and it was like Pong and Tank and those games.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. I don't remember seeing an arcade until probably freshman year of high school before I actually went into a place. There was a place and it had multiple games and that sort of thing.
Well, I know that I was really into pinball back around when I was in my preteen to early teen years.
Was that because you saw your mother having sex with another man and they told you that you didn't see anything or hear anything
Yeah.
or smell anything?
People followed me around for years and I told them to stick a cork in their mouth.
You didn't
So-
smell it.
For those of you who are not familiar with the band The Who, this is an entire reference to a rock opera called Tommy. That's where Greg is getting that from.
Yeah, our younger listeners think we're just really strung out on drugs. They don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Strung out on
What?
sake.
God, how drunk is that guy? What's he talking
That
about?
sake's strong.
He gets pretty drunk,
That
I gotta
sounds-
say.
That sounds terrible.
300 proof sake I got.
300 proof.
How is it 300 proof?
I don't
How
know
does
how
that
it can
work?
get that high, Greg.
It burns a hole in your stomach for a sip. Just rocks.
Burns a
out
hole through the glass that it's in.
It
Yeah.
sends you back in time and just keeps getting you drunk three times more.
It turns me
Yeah,
into
I mean,
a
as much as people in the world like to say they do things like 300% or 1,000%, you really can't do more than 100%. So,
That's the whole point of 100%.
but
so
200
if you have
proof.
200 proof is as high as it can go. You can't go higher than 200 proof, Greg.
I can't.
I
You'll
turned it up to
pickle
11.
yourself. You'll be
I
your
re-
own pickle jar.
I reject your pedestrian ideas about science. I'm a visionary. I'm like Frankenstein.
You're like
Dr.
beep.
Frankenstein.
You're like beep boop. No scientist can corroborate anything you're saying.
Dr. Beep Boop, if you
Beep
please.
Beep. Boop. Boop. No, you lost. You didn't say boop.
No,
That-
I
you
did
lost.
say boop.
You lost the
You-
point. You said beep.
You guys actually making up the rules right now for this?
Yeah.
I said boop. You
I
said
thought you
beep.
said beep.
And I said boop.
I thought you said beep. Sorry,
No.
I heard wrong.
You did it wrong.
I remember
Judge?
putting that thing together, and when I was finished, I went, there really is something wrong with me, because
I know. That's why I love you. That was insane. How long did you just come up with that? Like 10 minutes ago, you were like, "I'll just come up with the first thing in my head." Beep boop.
well, that's pretty much how I do everything. Is I just start typing something out, and it's whatever I wind up with.
Are you typing beep boop?
I do hardly any editing, and it's all pretty much. Sometimes I'm just doing it, off the cuff into the microphone, depending upon my mood.
If you put 1,000 monkeys in front of 1,000 typewriters, they would never come up with beep boop.
I actually have 1,000 monkeys living within me, and that's how we get all of this creativity. That makes no sense. So anyway, I remember we had a bowling alley where I lived, and I was in either my 8th grade or freshman year of school, and I remember Space Invaders and a couple of asteroids, and I think Pac-Man was another one of the games that had just come out into the arcade, and I suddenly didn't have a desire to play pinball anymore. And I used to play a lot of pinball. I mean, I used to cheat with pinball. I used to put like matchbooks underneath the legs of the pinball games so that we could make the table even out a little bit so that the ball wouldn't drain too quickly.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is
So,
That's
so
hard-
wonderful.
What was
That's
that,
hard
Greg?
to do with asteroids.
yes, exactly.
I
Although
said
we
that
had
was-
a weird thing that happened with our Space Invaders machine at this bowling alley where if you started pushing in the coin return, you would start getting free credits, free games for Space Invaders.
Oh.
So we would be there all frickin' day playing Space Invaders.
Did you get really
for-
good? Were you
for
amazing
free.
at Invaders?
I don't know. I mean, I got to a certain point with a lot of games where I just couldn't get any better. I just wasn't that good at terms of hand-eye coordination. So I would get good at some games, and I would be better at other. My brother was a huge Centipede fan, so much so as an adult he wound up buying his own Centipede game. So he was really good at that.
You know what I
But there
loved
was
about
always like a.
Centipede?
What's that,
Sorry,
Greg?
let me just say real quick. I love Centipede because it just had the rapid fire. You just hold the button down and your bullets just go.
Yes, there was like a weird fascination to Centipede because of that
Yeah.
aspect of it, where you didn't have to just button push. You could hold the button down and it would do it for you. But I was kind of good at that, but you're never as good as the really good players. It's like you try to get that high score and then some guy comes along and just wipes it out because they're fully obsessed with playing
I know
games.
that guy, the guy in the denim jacket who smokes cigarettes way before everyone else. It's that kid at the arcade.
That guy.
His name's like
The
Corey.
guy
or
from
something.
Bad News Bears.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
Corey.
like that.
Later, he sold you pot for the first time. That guy.
Yeah, he's good at video games.
I remember that guy. He didn't sell it to me though. He just gave it to me to get me hooked.
Oh well, there
Because
you
those
go.
guys skipped school all day and they went to the arcade and played video games, and they were all good.
That was me in college. So that was me. I played foosball in college to skip school.
That's an actual
yeah.
like sport almost. It takes like some. You're actually doing something. Foosball.
You gotta
Yeah, but
lose him.
there are also guys who are incredibly good at. I mean, I was good player. I was better than the average players. So I was like slightly above average. So I could beat most normal people at foosball. But then there was the next level, and they would kick my ass every time. I would like hold my own for maybe a couple of minutes, and they would just like wipe me out. And I'm like, this isn't fun for me. But so the average guys, we would play a lot of foosball, try to get better, and then occasionally the ringer would show up who could like hit a foosball over the heads of the foosball players and into your goal, and there wasn't really much you could do about it.
Would you gamble on these games? Would you bet?
No, I was never a bettor. I learned my lesson, I think, when we had a pool table in our basement when I was around 10 or 11 years old. And I think we had like a friend or two who was there. And so we bet on some games and I won, and they never paid me back. And I went, well, I know I would have paid if I had lost. So I don't think I want to get into this betting thing for the future.
It would have been a better story if your dad would play you, and then take your allowance away when he won. Like, you don't get allowance again.
Well, we never got allowance, Greg.
Okay, I didn't either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me rephrase it.
Oh, we got cigarettes. You know, like listen, that's what we got at my house. That's good. You took out the garbage and you raked the leaves. You get 3 cigarettes.
There's a smoke for you, Brendan. No, when I was very young, like kindergarten, first or second grade, so before second grade, we had allowance. I remember that because my brother stole money from my dad's wallet, and we went to some local Little League baseball game and spent it on candy or whatever. Then we come back, and I don't think I realized he had taken it from my dad's wallet. We come back, and my dad is noticeably upset about something, and turns out he realized that someone had stolen money from the wallet.
No allowance ever for anyone.
And that's basically what happened. We were never given.
Fair.
We were never given allowance. What do you mean it wasn't fair? It's just.
What did you do? You didn't do shit.
I apparently spent money that wasn't mine. So
yeah,
he was an accomplice. At least.
Basically, I was the younger sibling who went, okay. I'd like candy too. Either way, I never asked for allowance again. So normally, if my dad said something, I just fell along with it and went, yes, sir, and that's the way it went. You know, but. And that continued really through most of my life.
You know what a spoiled rich kid I was? Like when Brendan said boo-hoo, I was like, no, my parents just bought me anything I wanted. Like I'd go to the comic store, I'd get whatever I wanted, 20 comics. Okay, Mom, pay for it. Okay. So I didn't get allowance, but I pretty much got all free comics. I didn't have to pay for them. Yeah,
see, my background was weird because on the one side of the family, you know, I was raised by a Jewish American princess, you know, who came from like kind of an upper middle class family because my grandfather was a dentist. And then on my dad's side of the family, it was hillbillies and, you know, shooting squirrel for food. So exactly. So we had this dichotomy of a mindset where, you know, you have to be really thrifty or you have to spend too much money. So it's like, I think that's what ruined me financially for later years, where I just made horrible financial decisions along the way.
Overcome the drag and push of 2 different ideas in your head.
Yeah, because you have the deprivation, but then you have the money to handle the deprivation, but then the money wasn't deserved, so you had to like find a way to get free money somehow, but without stealing.
Right.
You know,
or you'd waste the money because it wasn't yours anyway.
Yeah.
You didn't deserve it. Yeah.
It's a whole communist perspective to a certain extent, you know. It's like everything belonged to me, but nothing belonged to me.
Even though I grew up like that, I was always cheap as hell, even as a kid. Like I felt bad about my parents spending money on me. I would be like, oh, should I get this 3rd comic or 4th comic? I don't know where it came from because I was spoiled, rotten. And yet I've been such a cheap motherfucker my whole life. I'm like Uncle Scrooge in the comic books. I'm just always like, I'm like taking home napkins from restaurants. And, you know.
Used napkins?
If they're used to dry your hands, which are clean.
I think that was your original video game, wasn't it? It was like the napkin theft game.
Yeah, it's like burger time. You have to go to burger.
It's just napkins.
Steal the napkins.
Exactly. I did want to have like some music playing while we were doing this. So let me see.
Oh, was it going to be 8-bit music?
What's that?
8-bit music scores.
Like, it was going to be something like that. So let me see if I can find what I did with it, just so we can have it in the background playing. So here we go. Can you hear that?
Every time I say like a bad joke, you should have the.
Let me turn the volume down, and we'll just have it running the whole time, because it's going to change up too. There we go.
I'm punching the stars above me.
I think if I ever went completely insane, that's what would be playing in my head.
I know.
I'd just be walking around.
You'd be talking to Brendan. Brendan, what year is it? You'd just be like,
dude, Dig Dug. What did he say? He keeps saying Dig Dug. No one knows what the hell he's talking about.
Oh, that was such a bizarre game. That was like one of the weirdest freaking games. Yeah. You know, I mean, like the concept of it is you're digging a hole, and then these like monsters or alligators are coming at you. To get out of it, though, you have to stick a hose to them and blow them up.
It's basically a tire inflator is your weapon.
Right.
It's a tire inflator.
Yeah,
It's like, who came up with it? They're like, this is how they'll kill them. They'll kill them with a hose attached to their asses until they explode. And, you know, a modern day Dig Dug should actually get really inventive with the graphics, though. They should have, like, the bowels shooting out and the eyeballs shooting off into different directions. And that would have been a fascinating one.
But at the meeting, they got it. Wait, okay, so I got it. I got it on the blowing up thing. But they're digging holes? Yes. It's like not Donkey Kong. It's like Down Under Kong. And they're like, I think get it.
We have to call Earth Force for that. That's not kosher.
That is where Earth Force got its original start, was from Dig
fighting
Dug.
Dig Dug and those. What were they called? The monsters, like pukas or something? They had a weird name. The little gremlins down there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember the names of them. But I do remember like being really back in the day, just being really fascinated by Space Invaders. But I remember playing Asteroids and not really being into Asteroids because it was too complicated for me.
I loved Asteroids because you go to the next screen, you could just shoot up and like it was an endless loop.
That was the problem that I had with it, though.
Was just keep going.
You couldn't control it well because it was in that like a gravity well. So the ship was always like loosely floating somewhere.
You had to stop, you had to turn around and hit the retro jets.
Yeah, I didn't like that part of it. I kind of like the more fixed gaming platforms. So when Donkey Kong came out, I was living in the Philippines. And so we didn't have Donkey Kong. We had Donkey King was the name of it for some reason.
Because they didn't know what King Kong was, maybe?
I don't know. It was on the military base, which is an American military base, so you got me. But all I do know is that I had a summer job that year that it came out, and I was late nearly every day to that summer job for at least an hour because I would go to the bowling alley. I always wanted bowling alley arcades. I went to the bowling alley arcade here as well, and I played Donkey Kong before I would go to work, and I would just get into
that job. Why didn't they fire you?
They eventually did, yes.
Yeah.
They eventually. I was working for at the time, military affiliated radio system.
Did they?
But they didn't know I was playing video games. For me, it was always I had bowel issues, so I was really late because
like this
of
poor
my
guy.
my intestines.
Is that Matt guy with the shit problem? Is he's late again with the shits? We gotta talk to him. We can't keep putting this off.
I know, and I actually enjoyed the job too, but anyway, so I wound up having to go get another one for the summer. It's not like we got a lot of money. We got $1.
Did they call you Honky Kong there at the arcade?
Yeah.
Like, here comes Honky Kong.
Yeah, that's what they called me.
I knew it.
No, I think they just said it's like another freaking teenager blowing whatever little money he has on this game. Because back then there was this trick you could do with the Donkey Kong. I mean, because that's when Mario was also part of Donkey Kong. Or Donkey King, I should say. Again, for me it was Donkey King. And where you could jump off the right-hand side of the platform, if you did it backwards, you could actually skip the entire level and go on to the next level. It was some weird glitch in the system, so...
I think I've already told you guys on this show about the Galaga glitch. I don't know why it came up, but I know the Galaga glitch since I was in my 20s. And
what's the Galaga glitch, Greg?
Well, there's something you do in the first round. It's very boring, but once you do it, you do this thing where you don't kill the last two guys to the left, I think. Who come at you, and then you let them come at you for like 4 minutes, and you'll notice they stop dropping missiles. And after a while, you can kill them. The rest of the game, no missiles get dropped. It's still kind of hard because there's still like 5 guys going, woo, coming at you, but no missiles.
Wait, what was that sound that you made again?
Woo! They were ghost missiles. Woo! Woo! They were disco missiles. Woo!
Disco jihad.
Disco jihad missiles. We're gonna blow you up. Oh, we're gonna blow you up. Ooh,
infidel.
So, what was your all the years you played arcade games? What would you say was your favorite arcade game?
I rarely played arcade games because I was a cheapskate. So when I got Atari, I played video games a lot. So I loved Space Invaders the first 2 weeks I got it. It was for months, maybe months.
Well, you're talking about it as a home game. I'm talking about it as an arcade game.
I told you guys about just a month ago about the Joust Nervous Breakdown I had. So that was probably the one I played the most in arcades.
Joust, that's one of the that you were on, like eagles or something, right?
Ostriches.
Ostriches.
Yeah, ostrich. Yeah,
that's another bizarre freaking game.
That's a bizarre game. I didn't get into Joust and Dig Dug until I was lost in a different world of substances. Now, mine was Missile Command. I was king of Missile Command.
And the
Missile Command, that was like when you had a ball, right?
And
the ball, and the things would shoot down onto you, and you had to like create like a dome of lasers or something, right?
Well, your bomb, you'd hit a bomb, and then it would like give like an inch or two of just destroy everything in it. It'd go like explode.
And then things got a little more complicated. Then Defender came out.
Yeah, I liked Defender.
Yeah.
Fuck, that game was like, that always gave me like seizures. Like near the end when there's like 17 things going, vibrating around you.
The little people falling.
Yeah, it was gnarly, that game. And Stargate was the better sequel.
No, I don't remember Stargate.
It was Defender, but with more fancy bells and whistles. Like,
I seem to remember some game, I think it was called Scramble or something like that. It was similar to Defender, but you had to go through like narrow like hallways and things at the end as you're flying your ship. And anyway, I guess that's not ringing a bell for anybody. I can't remember if that's the exact name or not.
What was the first game that did the semi-3-dimensional thing of Xerox? Had a weird name. It was the first time a video game wasn't just... Thank you, Zaxxon. Was the first time a game wasn't just you're looking at a flat 2-dimensional thing. You were kind of going in this, 3-dimensional. It was diagonal, basically. You were looking at it from an angle, and that blew me away. I was like, whoa. Oh yeah,
remember? Here we go. I was going to say exactly what Brenda just said.
Oh yeah, Cubert's 3-dimensional. Yeah.
The first three. That I tell you, I lost so much money on that stupid game because I would always jump off the back by accident. It'd be like, I've killed Cubert again. He's constantly killing himself. It's like, boom, boom, boom. Oh, damn it!
I wonder what a child psychiatrist would have said about that, man.
Yeah, I recently played a video game with my daughter on Roblox, which is a big, like, gaming platform or something.
It's a Minecraft thing or something, right?
It's kind of, people look like little Lego people, and then you have to make your little Lego character, and then you can play different games. And one of them was a game where there was a spider and you had to run away, and this other was this. Anyway, my point is, like you with Cubert, we did play this space game, and it was kind of trippy geometry, and I just kept going like, I was always falling off the planet.
Like, I can't play games with my kids because they
they kick your ass
constantly with things. I'm like, I think for me, where I turned away from the console games when Intellivision came around. Because before that, it was Atari, you had a joystick and a button. I'm like, I could handle a joystick and a button. That's why I didn't like Asteroids, too, because Asteroids had too many buttons. I like the ones where it was like a joystick and a button. And man, I would play games so much I would get blisters on the side of my fingers.
I remember that, yeah.
It'd be like, I should probably go home. No, I must spend more money I don't actually earn. So, but when you added these extra buttons, I would get confused. And, then as arcade games started to get a little more complicated, you had like these special moves, like with the fighting type games.
Oh, yeah, it's Nintendo with like the 4 buttons and like hold down A, B, and depress C.
And now they're ridiculous. Now there's like extra buttons. And I'm like, I don't want to do all of this. I don't want to do all of this work.
I don't know what Freud would say about this, but I love joystick games. I mean, it was so satisfying just sitting there going, one button and a joystick just going.
I'm telling you, that's where the country went wrong, was we stopped accepting it was one joystick and one button. Once you started, it had all kinds of buttons and all kinds of levers and
it's other slippery slope.
I know. Next thing you know, it's same-sex marriages. It's all because of that.
Yeah.
It's one joystick, one button.
Ban abortions.
They felt like there was 2 buttons.
You can marry a donkey soon.
That's right.
I
think you can do it now.
Joystick button.
I think you can actually marry a donkey now if you want to.
So, do you guys know about this one game, which I almost think I dreamt it, but my friends will verify this. There was a video game in the arcade in Tucson in the late 80s called Chiller. And it was like a horror-based game. The first screen was like a torture chamber. And you'd have to shoot. It was a gun game. It actually had a mounted rifle on the video game, and you would, like, say, shoot the string that made the guillotine fall on the guy's head, and the head, this primitive graphics.
Yeah, I didn't really like shooting games
The
either
head would
because,
fall.
again,
No, I didn't either, but this was a horror game. It was like total, like, gory. And so there'd be like scenes where there was a woman in the graveyard buried up to her waist, and she was like really badly drawn, just like, no, ooh, no.
well, that reminds me, there was an arcade game
let
where
me
they
finish,
had like
let me finish,
killer
though.
clowns that would come after you.
I remember
They would
that
like
game.
run after you and like
Like,
stab you with
shoot her
knives.
once. You shoot her once, and her shirt comes off, and you can see these badly drawn 16-bit boobs. Then you shoot her again, her head comes off. You see like a little bit of red. I mean, the graphics weren't good enough to be that gory, but they were implied. And me and my friends played this game all the time, and we were like, how come this isn't in the news? Like, why? There's a video game where you can see boobies. I knew the gore was fine in America. The gore wouldn't bother anyone. Well, some, but the boobies scene, it was like, how
That's
is
because
it
they're
not-
square. They weren't actually
they
round.
they were kind of square. They were like,
But 16-bit boobies,
And
I
it
think
was-
was the
and it was-
nickname for my first girlfriend.
that's a good techno band name. 16-bit boobies.
Anyway, go ahead, Brandon.
I was gonna say this is why the internet was born. They were like, okay, there's
Oh, yes.
violence, but really, boobies. We can transmit digital pornography, and then somebody went, "We're all gonna be millionaires."
But you know that this is way before the internet, and it was like, because it was really primitive graphics, but it was totally gory and nasty. And I never I was watching TV then following the news. I never heard of parents protesting this game. They were protesting fucking rock lyrics at the time. Those
Well,
parent
they were
groups.
protesting Dungeons and Dragons at the time.
Yeah,
Hey,
and somehow this
hey.
game was not immune to it, and it was so.
And not only Dungeons and Dragons, but like live action role playing. Well, they call it something different now.
LARPing.
LARP?
LARPing, yeah. But before it was called LARPing. It was people are out there reenacting Dungeons and Dragons, and so they're all going to hell, and we need to put a stop to that. That
Well,
was like around 1980.
It's a gateway to Satanism. That's what Jack Chick comics.
But we've learned actually from I think our second or third episode that the gateway to Satanism is the song "Rock Around the Clock." So just to bring that back into focus.
Yeah, that was when you had your seizure. You mean that day? You had a nervous breakdown.
It's like my theories all were tied together, is what happened.
Right.
But you get too close to the truth, man.
Yes, and then
That's when they come.
then
for
you wind up in the belly of a car called the Beast.
Oh no, you froze. Am I frozen?
No, it's just him right now.
That's Matt. The belly of a car called the Beast.
I'm not sure.
Is he talking about Christine by Stephen King? The
What?
car.
Was the car? Did it have a name?
Christine.
No. Oh, the name was Christine. You're right.
Yeah. But a car that is a beast. I don't know where he's going with that.
I don't know.
We may never know. That might be for forever. He's gone.
gone. What
Oh
happened?
my God, we can talk about Matt now. So what's the
I
most
saw
annoying
you
thing?
retired. I saw you retired the cup and was just fucking straight out of the bottle.
Is what? Oh yeah. I'm going full on Toshiro Mifune here. I wish I had the big jug so I could put it on my elbow, like in the Seven Samurai. Just like, this is nasty cold. It's the kind that's so shitty you have to heat it up.
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to drink it warm anyway, aren't you? Or hot?
No, like the really good sakes you're not. Like, because the reason why you heat up sake is because it's not that good. It covers the shitty taste. It kind of like the heat makes it like you can't tell as much.
Yeah, sure. You just go, God, that's hot alcohol.
Which may be my Holocaust bourbon I should heat up. By that theory.
What
And it might
the
be
hell happened to me?
Hot Holocaust
We were
bourbon.
totally talking about you, Matt.
My internet is going funky today.
Oh my God, that's going to be my new expression when I see something crazy. I'm going to be like, hot Holocaust bourbon. What the
Holy
hell?
Holocaust bourbon.
Hot Holocaust bourbon.
Am I frozen again? Or am I being ignored?
No, you're good.
Okay, I just wasn't sure
But
what
now
was
you are
going
in
on.
the right.
I also have replaced my use of the R word with TikTok.
Oh, well, that's good.
You're totally TikTok. You sound like a TikTok right now.
That you are so TikTok right now. That is TikTok.
Well, I apologize for disappearing. So we're basically going to have what? But not whatever you guys were talking about being recorded.
What?
For whenever we finally put the show live. So I'll have to do some more serious editing, I suppose.
We had some good bits while you were away.
You did what?
I told a hilarious story while you were away.
Oh, yeah? What was the story, Greg?
Oh, it was just
It was
delightful.
It was the
like
story
Oscar
of
Wilde
the ferret and the pelican.
I told that old Aesop's fable. The ferret.
That sounds like one of the early
Pelican.
video games where like a ferret had to go collect his friend the pelican and take them to the island of candy. That was
And they all learned a lesson at the end.
they all learned some kind of lesson. They did. They had to rescue a frog that was named Bobo, apparently, at the end.
So I wanted to say
And the frog had just like a bad attitude when they got there, and it was like calling them names, going, "Why are you here? I was enjoying myself. How dare you come and rescue me, you stupid ferret, you stupid pelican?" And then they left the frog there, and they said, "Fine, rescue yourself, you stupid amphibian."
You're really thinking about this slide. You should sell this to Rockstar Games. They're
Right.
a big combine in the video game industry.
Are they Rockstar Games? I thought
Yeah,
they were a
Grand
drink.
Theft Auto.
Oh, I don't know.
Yes, he's right.
They're big.
Are they
They're
big?
They're the
I just
Atari.
know of like Blizzard Entertainment is what I'm familiar
This
with.
is a big one, yeah.
Blizzard
Yeah.
and the Blizzard.
I
Then
mean,
there's
what-
Lizard Entertainment, which is what we're actually owned by.
It was so weird how Atari was so monolithic when we were kids. Like it was just Atari, and then the television came out, but only like one kid in your block had a television. Was it like
Yeah,
that?
because it was like a complicated freaking controller.
Yeah,
It had like all
one
the
kid
buttons
had
on it.
in Mayapack? One kid.
And then I think it was Sega Genesis was like the next.
No,
No?
it was the next step, ColecoVision, which was pretty fucking good at the
Yeah.
time. ColecoVision was a huge step where it's like this Donkey Kong plays just like Donkey Kong, almost like the arcade game. It was
Yeah.
almost the same.
The snozberries taste just like snozberries.
Yeah. But ColecoVision was awesome. I don't know why it didn't keep going, but it seemed like America. That's the weird thing when you look at video game history. America was so into video games, and they just got tired of them for 5 years until Nintendo came out. For some reason, America just was like, we love this, now we don't for 5 years. And then we loved it even harder when it came back. Now everyone plays video games. 40-year-old people, then 50-year-old men play video games every day. When we were kids, it was just kids play video games.
Well, I was overseas for 2 years, and you got to understand that these video games may have been in a bowling alley, but they were basically designed for men in the military, not for the kids of the people in the
Arcade
military.
games adults played, but like for all, I don't know many of my friends' parents who were playing their Atari games. You know, like, oh, my dad won't let me play Atari. He's playing Space Invaders now. It just seemed like, but now video games have become such an
But
integral.
that dad was super cool, and everybody liked it. And he probably
Yeah,
also
my
played
dad
Dungeons and
still has
Dragons.
never played a video game.
Yeah.
My dad plays like weather maps is what my dad plays. That's his favorite game. Where's
Is that a game?
the hurricane coming from?
No.
Oh, that's my brother.
That was
He
like one of
loves
the
it.
things I had to do when I was in Florida is like I bought my dad a tablet, and the first thing he wanted was weather apps to be put. I'm like, on how many weather apps do you need? You know, he had like 3 weather apps that he cycled through.
Is your dad Willard Scott?
I don't know. I'm like, I just look out the window. That's how I know what the weather is. I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess
No,
in Florida
people-
you have to be more aware of like hurricanes coming, so you can like
No, but that's an
put the
old
boards
people
across
thing.
the windows.
Old people
There's-
are fascinated by the weather. Old people are the main watchers of the Weather Channel. They watch it for hours. Like, ooh, look at Iowa. There's a mild hurricane.
Is that what they do, Greg? This
Yeah,
is
why
what you
you
know to be a
can't-
fact that old
I
people
know,
just
I've
watch the
seen-
weather for
I-
hours.
Old
hate-
friends,
There's
old
nothing
relatives.
worse than an Iowa hurricane too early in the Midwest hurricane season. When the hurricanes spawn off the Great Lakes.
Don't tell me about it. I've lived through those. Ooh,
Nebraska has the worst hurricanes in the world.
You're
Oh.
triggering me right now. Stop.
Bossy of 1957 was a Category 6
Did you
Midwest
say
hurricane.
Bosnia?
Bossy.
Oh.
Bossy? Like the cow?
Bozeman, Montana, Boise, Idaho.
Wasn't that the dead guy?
We're just doing a horrible stream of consciousness right now. All right, well, that being the case, then we should bring in our cooking segment for this. This is not a new cooking segment because, once again, I have people working on stuff around the house. I have people digging holes in my yard.
Pizza waspy.
What's that, Greg?
Do we really have to repeat these waspies?
Yes, we have to. Just to.
I should have talked about this before the show. But I want to say right now, I'm again it. In the words of Waspy's cousin.
Of rerunning Waspy soda pops.
Yeah, I don't like reruns. Nobody likes reruns.
Well, people do. People watch them. That's how they get away with it on regular television.
We don't like reruns. No, people don't like it. It's not as good as a first run.
Well, I'll tell you what. We have Sanchez Eldorado communicating. He says that, good evening, fellas. Presidential SUV is called the Beast. In Portland, it's either raining or not raining. So that is his contribution. Once again, we wish have to work on his own.
That's right. He's interested in weather.
You're right. You're right. Sanchez Eldorado just proved your point, Greg. But I have to turn off the music. Oh wait, you guys haven't been hearing the music for a while. It's just me hearing the music.
What if I just make a new Waspy soda pop right now?
Go for it.
Yeah?
Yeah, do it.
Food is freezing. Food is freezing. Food is freezing. With Waspy soda pop. Hey everybody, my name is Waspy soda pop. Today we're gonna make tit dumplings, and that's
what are they called?
Tit dumplings.
Tit dumplings.
The dumplings that look like little tits. So what you do is like normal, like when you make a dumpling, you get the flour and you get the inside, some maybe potatoes or some raspberry.
But how much? You need specific amounts, Greg.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So you get 2 pounds of flour, and I'm sounding like a Southern belle.
That's appropriate for you.
Now he's suddenly from Louisiana.
And then you drink a mint julep while you're cooking, and then I do declare, then you get some parsnips as the filling of the dumpling.
Now he sounds like Foghorn Leghorn.
I do declare.
I do declare.
Come here. I say, boy. You get some.
I say, chicken hawk.
You get some parsnips for the filling, but then you buy cherries and you slice them up nice and thin, nipply size thin. And then once you make the dumplings, you cook them in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That is not Celsius, because that would be like the surface of the sun. And 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you cook them up. And while they're cooking, you take a crap or play some horseshoes or do whatever you like to do. It takes a little while. Then you come back. And you check the oven, and after done, you take the little slices of cherries you slice, and you put them right on top. It's like little nipples. And then what you got there is little tit dumplings. They look just like little tits. Who doesn't like tits? And then you put it in your mouth, and you suck on the cherry right before you put it in the mouth. It's delicious. The cherry and the parsnip, the way they marry, the flavors marry, it's delightful.
It's not quite a Waspy soda pop recipe, because those are all like edible food items that you're using there.
I know. And then you put some ashes in it and some dinosaur bones, and you put a Martian hemlock in it.
Martian hemlock.
If you don't know where to get the Martian hemlock, there's a link down below. We're one of our sponsors.
Well, the way you said it, I thought you said moshing. Some Martian hemlock.
You want to get Martian hemlock, what you do is you go out to the end of your yard and yell out, "I'm not taking the vaccine!" And then someone will come out and go, "Me neither." And then you go, "Do you know where I can get some Martian hemlock?" They go, "Yeah, I got a whole container of it here underneath my refrigerator next to my flat earth compass." There you get your Martian hemlock.
That's how you do it. Because everyone in QAnon is like...
That must be where it grows up in Portland, I guess.
Yes. I ain't doing it. I'm not taking it.
So there you go. There you got your nice
if I get the vaccine, I for sure won't get sick. That's why I'm taking the vaccine. Oops. Guess that didn't plan out. That didn't work. I'll get a booster. Oops, I got it again. Thank God Pfizer made $10 billion, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, thank God for all the dead who they got to test the vaccine on too. So anyway, moving along.
Let me just say, I got a regular at the bar. He was a nice guy, but he refuses to call it the vaccine. The vax. I said, I got my vax. It's not a vax. It's a shot. He's like, because it doesn't stop you from getting it, like a flu shot.
Yeah.
Ideally, stops you from getting the flu.
Yeah.
And it's like, Mike, that's his name, good guy. And I was just like, it keeps you from dying. I don't give a fuck what you call it. It keeps you from, I might get COVID, but I won't die. So,
yeah, I think that's probably a better term for it. You just call it a shot.
Sure, but I mean, he was doing that skeptical thing. It's like, I don't care
because technically, it isn't a vaccine because a vaccine carries a small bit of the thing that it's protecting you against.
Yeah.
Whereas
gives you a little dose.
All the shots did not go that route. They went a new route.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody expected that the quote unquote vaccine was going to cure anybody of the COVID or knock it out because it is a coronavirus, and the fact is the common cold is a coronavirus, and that's never been able to be cured, but you can lessen the symptoms. So there you go. It's for lessening the symptoms. So regardless, thank you, Brendan, for taking us onto that track as opposed to maintaining the goddamn humor that we were going with, for crying out loud.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Pfizer made a bunch of money off of that.
I just thought it was interesting.
I wasn't the one that did the out of thin air thing about the vaccine guy who was standing on the edge of the cliff.
I didn't realize I was going to touch a nerve by doing it. I apologize for that.
No, I don't give a shit. I just thought it required a little bit of a counterpoint. It was a little much.
It wouldn't be our show without a tiny bit of squabbling.
So there you go. I was
tiny bit.
I was going to fulfill my role because I know Chucklehead wasn't going to do it. He'd be like, yeah. I'll take 6 more boosters if you give them to me for free.
One at each eyeball because he's a fly.
Anyway.
So all right. What the hell were we? Oh, we were talking about Waspy Soda Pop, as we were saying. How to get Martian hemlock.
Yes.
If you want to repeat your Waspy, go ahead.
No. Put his face on while you're talking for whenever I do the editing.
I did the song, though. I did pretty good, huh?
Sure. I mean, it's not like it's that great of a song to begin with.
It is reading. But notice I didn't do it at the end because I never liked
that. That was the sound that Greg made as he tried to call hogs in before the next Iowa hurricane came. He called to those
for the next Nebraska water spout.
He called for those pigs like his life depended on it, and it did.
Did you guys hear there's some dust devils in New Mexico right now?
Well, that's normal, Greg.
No, but there's extreme dust devil warning. There's a warning on the Weather Service.
The dust devils.
Extreme dust devils.
That's Pedro. That's Juan. They're the dust devils. I know those guys.
Yeah, they're like knocking over cars and shit.
I hear they do Tejano music. The Dust Devils.
They have a food truck.
Food truck.
They're knocking over trucks. They're really bad dust devils.
They do Italian-Mexican fusion. Spaghetti tacos.
They get the tomato sauce from Safeway, and then they add oregano and salt. That's all they do.
Oregano and salt. And some chorizo, I think they would add to it as well. No chorizo. Because it's dust. It's dust. That's why. Yeah. They just get a handful of dirt and they put that in a taco shell.
It's your taco, you fucking weirdo. Hey, it's your taco. Get out of here. Taco.
Poppy is going to come back on and give you guys a hard time about these taco recipes because
bring him.
Puerto Ricans don't make tacos.
I know, Greg. That was what made it funny before.
Oh.
They're the softest.
Oh, because you're baiting Poppy.
They're loud, but
of course I was.
You were trolling Poppy, hoping he listens to our show.
I'm not a troll. I'm a trawl. Let's get it.
You're a trollop.
What's that from a science
You're a
fiction
slatern.
Thing? Trawl?
What's that?
That's something. Trawl.
That's a fishing term. So when you're
Isn't
trawling.
That troll?
Well, that's A-W.
Yes, Trawl. But people think it's trolling, but it's actually trawling.
It's actually trawling, so I got it all wrong. Oh, okay.
You're not the only one. Plenty of people.
But if you had a trolley or
It's kind of like when people hear the term "at my beck and call" and they think it's BECKON, so beck and call, or for all intents and purposes, people think it's intensive purposes. You know, it's one of those things that just gets repeated so many times. People think that's what it is when it's
like
actually
voluptuous.
yeah,
People
or
really think it's
or
voluptuous.
disingenuous,
Right. Or like the vaccine is going to solve the problem.
or nuclear,
Or the Caucasus Mountains.
right?
We did the
This has been
Caucasus
so
Mountains
repeated.
already.
Those the Congressional
Did we do
Black
that?
Caucasus Mountains.
They're really tall
That's right.
because black people are generally taller than white people.
Oh no.
Look at the basketball players.
Sure, and the pygmies.
It's that racist.
Regardless,
There's more short white people.
all the pygmy white people out there.
There's a bunch. They all live in Florida.
There's a bunch, and they're all have yellow peel around
Why are
them.
Latinos so short though? Not my family, but
Well, it has to do with the native people in
Why?
Central.
Why are you asking these questions? This is not a
Right.
question.
It's
This is
just a
not an
question.
arena we need to
Why-
be giving our
why
lack
are
of
some-
expertise in.
why are some
Greg.
cultures like taller and shorter? Like why are I've met so many Latin American
It's
guys
called
who-
deoxyribonucleic acid, Greg. That's what it comes down to.
I
Here's
know,
the
why?
one, but here's the one.
Spaniards are
Why?
short.
Why? Because of God, Greg. God.
Native
did it.
Americans weren't short. Spaniards weren't short. Why, when they mix the two, did they become very short people?
No.
It's because they're dwarves, Greg.
Central Americans were short. But here's the thing. If you're going to go like, okay, well, evolution should have dictated whatever, skin color. Why are people in the northern countries so goddamn tall? That doesn't make any sense at all. Because if you go to like the Inuit people and the Native Americans or native people of Alaska, they're all tiny, they're short because you didn't want a big surface area. You wanted to be able to hunker down in the cold. But Norway, Sweden, why are they all like 6'4"? What the hell is that?
It's more surface area to lose your heat. So you
That's right. It's not an
cold
effective
people would be
strategy.
shorter.
Right. They should be.
That's surface area.
That was actually the first video game, wasn't it? It was determining
Racial
the
determination.
racial size of people based upon the surface area and to determine how soon they would die
That was the best. That was
when
fun.
they were exposed to the elements.
Well, no.
It's like,
no, it
who
was
dies first of exposure?
it
The
was more-
Vikings or the Mayans?
It was more of a Risk/Sims game where you were given a certain set of colors, and then you had to move them around appropriately without getting in the way of somebody else, and then have everybody survive.
You know, I never played Sims, but I was always fascinated. Like, can you do anything on the Sims? Like, could you be like, oh, I'm gonna, I don't know,
Mutter?
cornhole my son on Sims. Not that I want to do that, but could you do that on the Sims? Can you
No,
do
I
anything?
never played that, and I don't think
Would they
you could
stop
do
you?
that because it depends upon the programming, and they probably
Yeah.
wouldn't program in things that are illegal.
Well, I know you could do things that, like, you could have sex with anyone in the game, and it's like,
No,
Is
I
there-
don't know that you could do that, Greg.
no.
I
played-
hope that you can't. I hope so, but I don't know. Have you
Only
played
the
Sims,
school
Brendan?
teachers you could have sex with.
Brendan,
Nobody
have you played
else.
Sims?
multiple times back in the
Okay.
90s and then recently.
Are there limits? Are there
No,
things?
well, you got your answer, Greg. He just said the words multiple times.
I know, but I want to know, are there limits? And he said yes. So
Yeah.
that's what I want to know.
Yeah, you can't
There's
jump
only-
to the moon either, Greg.
You can't really control them like you would control Mario. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You kind of set up some tasks. It's more like one of those, like almost one of those text-based games where you would say, go left, go right, do this,
Oh,
do
yeah.
that. So you would kind of give them a set of tasks, and they would kind of operate on their own. Like all of a sudden, if at 9 o'clock they're supposed to go to work, they would just leave. They'll just get out the house and go wherever they're supposed to go. You didn't have to make them do that. Then they would just show up. And if you don't make them do something, if you don't give them a command like go eat or go to the bathroom, they'll go find something else to do. So you don't control them in a way like, and now you can make them go talk to somebody, and you can choose to talk, flirty, but it doesn't mean anything.
Will they die if you don't tell them to?
Yes.
eat?
Yeah, they can die.
So do you think a lot of people sadists play this game? Like, I wonder how many people are just like, oh, I want to hurt people, but I don't want to go to jail.
I think you go through that a little bit. Like when I played it with first times my kids, we did horrible shit. Like literally like like family services came and took one of the kids away. One of them died in the kitchen and never.
One
did
of your
anything with
actual
his
kids
body.
was taken away by family services.
Yes.
One died in the kitchen.
One died in the kitchen. But anyway, so we just let it go to hell. One of the people just went crazy. It was just running around in circles. But after a while, you're like, okay, I think I've seen about as much of this game that I'm going to get out of it this way. And then you start trying to build a world and, whatever,
Did you guys ever play SimCity? Like
No,
the primitive
but
version?
before we get into the sim wormhole you're dragging us into, Greg, Sanchez Eldorado did correct me regarding trawling, because he says trawling requires a net, and then he says up in Alaska you reach the point of diminishing return. So that's Sanchez Eldorado chiming in
with his quibbling. Thank you for quibbling, Sanchez Eldorado.
Exactly.
We don't get enough from Matt. Now we have like a North Dakota.
Oh, but he's quibbling with me. You see, that's the.
Yeah, but now you shared it, so now we have more quibbling. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a double quibble.
Double
All right, so let's continue on with our normal segment that we have not got into yet. Exactly. How can you forget, Greg?
I don't know if I can do this with Saki.
How can you forget?
He has an opinion, may not always be right. He's a real fake lawyer. He's old and he's white. Ask him a question, 'cause he's a good egg. For bogus advice, ask Greg. Ask Greg? Ask Greg!
I never noticed how she said he may not always be right. I've never been right once.
No, you've noticed that before because you've commented on it before.
Oh, I have?
Yes, you have. So this is another moment where
Blame
you
it
haven't
on
been
the
right.
Saki.
I think it's not the sake. It's
I
probably.
really said that before. I never thought that. I never
You
noticed.
just gave away the name of my screenplay.
Blame it on the sake.
Yeah, I was starting
with Michael Caine.
No, Randy Quaid.
And
it's actually a martial arts movie. He's changing it to Blame It on the Chop Sake.
Randy Quaid.
All right.
And,
so, Brendan,
Douglas. Yes.
What do we have from the Peanut Gallery in terms of legal questions for Greg? Because they're asking
you can ask about
Greg.
Japan today because I'm ready. Japanese legal questions.
Or one about the Sims, and if Greg was part of the Sims.
I was part of Sim City. I was a great mayor.
You were. I'm sure you were. Here's an interesting one. Dear Greg, I know this really isn't your area of expertise, but I've been a fan of your show for many years.
Thank you.
I want to address the subject with you of bestiality. You've poked some fun at it in the past, but it's a serious issue,
Literally.
which I'm trying to legalize here in our great state of Oregon. What advice do you have for me to get this measure through so humans and beasts can? I'm not going to read the rest of that.
Well, actually,
love Steve.
You're an Oregon resident, I believe.
Love Steve. No, yeah, he's not. Brendan is an Oregon resident.
No.
He's got a couple of weeks before that happens, but
yeah,
because I think this person hasn't been following the news. Last year, we did pass the law. It was called.
This is an old email.
It was called the Richard Gere enactment.
Oh no!
It was, yeah. We already did that. You haven't been following the news.
Greg's favorite story.
But technically speaking, is that the same thing in terms of the alleged incident with Richard Gere?
Yeah, that's more like hide a hamster, Greg, as opposed to doing it with a hamster.
Well, it's sexual. It's not consensual.
It's not. It's yeah.
The gerbil isn't consenting. The gerbil dies. But I'm saying because
I think in any situation involving a gerbil in that regard, it's probably going to end up dead.
Yeah, unless you're providing the services to the hamster. He's like,
yeah, that would be nice.
I suppose. I don't know
that's
what a
legal
hamster would
now.
do.
If you just want your hamsters to be happy,
that's nice.
Little happy hamsters.
There is
like when I used to own a dog, I'd put peanut butter on my dick
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
You know,
there's
like-
a person at SeaWorld whose job it is to the animals there.
Well, there's that whole like in animal husbandry, right? There's the guy who has to like.
Is that being a
Rip
husband?
off the
Greg?
cow?
Is that what a husband is to you?
It's his animal husband.
I'm just saying in Oregon now it's totally legal. Anything like we can take all the drugs we want. Any drug is legal, and any animal you want to fuck, you could fuck a mosquito if you could figure out how to do it right now.
Okay. I'm
It's
letting
like
him.
free
I'm
and
letting
open.
him know.
Let
must
Steve
be-
know that
Yeah, he
bestiality is A-okay in your book.
Yes,
I had
Oregon
no idea.
is like Amsterdam. It's
I can't wait to get there.
It's Hamsterdam here. You can fuck
Hamsterdam.
anything, including a hamster. You can.
I wouldn't
it's
do that.
No laws.
I wouldn't do that. I
Or a
have
ham,
certain-
for that matter.
Maybe.
I woke up this morning before work. I had a little time. I was smoking a cigarette outside. I saw a squirrel. I fucked it. A cop went by and he said, "Good on you, buddy."
Is that what he
amazing.
did?
Jeez.
Tipped his hat. That's
Top of the
great.
day, Governor.
In the throes of it with a squirrel.
That's
Yeah.
a nice squirrel.
Did
I
he
was on-
like Doctor Who teleport out of England somehow from 1880s?
What Doctor Who? How did Doctor Who get involved?
I don't know. He had to come on a time machine somehow.
No, Oregon is like
Doctor
Oregon
what?
is like a Mad Max Fury Road over here. We got no laws. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's like Wavy Gravy is our spiritual governor, basically. Even though he's
Another
dead.
callback for Greg and Wavy Gravy.
I love Wavy. That's the funniest name ever for a hippie. But yeah, you can fuck anything you want here.
Really?
Okay, good. I
Okay.
got it. I responded to the young man.
Especially the economy. That's
Yeah,
something you can definitely do here.
He
I
is a
fucked
young
an
man.
avocado yesterday. Even vegetables.
Those
Okay.
with and without wheelchairs.
I think we should move on. Either another
Ouch.
question or something else.
Well, I think it's time to go into our newest segment because we're definitely hitting the about the 1 hour mark here. So this is
What?
a brand new segment, everybody. This is not something that has been shown or seen anywhere in this world, but it's going to happen today. So let me make sure I have the sound on this time so that it's all done appropriately. Here we go. This is The Last Word with Brendan Haggerty.
What was that? Jump, jump, jump. I couldn't
Well, I'm glad my segment is the acid trip part of it.
Yeah. Like you record that in your bathroom, man?
Yeah, so, I'm just speaking in my true native alien language, Greg. Sit
What did you
down.
say at the end? What literally? What did you say?
All that is me just reversing what I said at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So I just
I thought my bad
I just
hearing,
reversed
I
the
couldn't hear
thing in the beginning and I added some echo to it.
Because I had bad hearing. I was like, am I not hearing?
I thought something was glitching. I'm like, oh well.
Well, yeah, something obviously was glitching, which is the guy who created the thing. So for those of you who are just tuning in and who don't know anything about this, because this is a brand new thing, this is The Last Word with Brendan, where Brendan gets the last word. So, Greg, what does Brendan get to have the last word about today?
If 6 were 9 and 7 and 7 is on a purple haze. No, I'm sorry. I was just going along with the psychedelic thing. But you were all hippied out there. That intro was very hippie, rubber soul-y. It was very Hendrixy. Okay,
Just give him a freaking topic.
I'm sorry. You threw that on us. We had no idea that.
I gave you the entire hour to think think it.
I know, but no, I
I got
can do that
nothing.
thing.
Throw me
We
a
had no
ball.
idea there'd be this hippy dippy
Coach,
Beatles, late era
throw the
Beatles thing
ball
going on.
train.
No,
Should I
Number
play it
9?
again? Should I play it
Number
again so
9?
you get it out of your system?
Number 9. I don't know what you're doing. Okay, we're good. Okay, no, you don't have to play it.
No,
Okay,
let's do it
once.
again. Oh,
This
no.
is The Last Word.
Word.
Brendan Haggerty.
No, it sounds like no talent Sid.
No talent simp, Brendan Haggard. He gives
All
him
right,
free
Brendan,
money to eat.
Give him a topic to have the last word about, Greg.
Brendan, I'm curious to what you think about the Secret Service agent yesterday during the January 6th hearings, who said that when he got in the car with Donald Trump, he grabbed the wheel because he wanted to go to the Congress building. Is that what it's called? The Congress building?
Yes, I guess. Let's just go with that. Oh,
the Congress
purveyor of
capital C, capital B.
Congress and stuff. I think
he was going to go to Congress and stuff, and he grabbed
the Congress hut,
Congress building.
And then so the guy grabbed his arm to stop him from doing a very dangerous thing, and then Trump grabbed his neck. Trump attacked his own Secret Service guy.
Trump attacked his own Secret Service guy.
Did you read about this, Brendan? Do you know about what I'm talking about? Matt told us about this.
Well, he didn't grab his neck, and he
didn't. He said he grabbed his trachea.
No, he put his hand on his clavicle. Was basically
clavicle.
Yes, but it didn't say that he grabbed it. It's just they put his hand on it. It wasn't the person wasn't an eyewitness, so that's why it's a little hard to know for certain that this is what happened.
So what? So wait a minute. So my question is, what the fuck? Is that the question? Here's the situation. What the fuck?
So so in other words, I guess what Greg is asking is like, what's your opinion about Trump trying to take the steering wheel out of the Secret Service?
Or are you even surprised? Just hearing that story
okay.
Hearsay.
Well, this is just for Brendan to like give his final statements about Greg. So that was the questions.
One, the first thing, it sounds suspect to me because Donald Trump doesn't have that kind of fucking testosterone in any part of it, in his whole body, and burned it down to the ground. He's not that fucking tough. I watched when there was a video of him when he was president and something happened. That dude couldn't have ran off the stage, got tackled by his people faster. He is in no way that much of a man to do something like that to a trained fucking killer, nor would they let the president do that in any sort of threatening way other than him just touching him, which could have happened, but who the fuck knows? The real interesting part is how much time do we feel as a country or as a party, as Democrats, do we feel we should devote to going over and over and over and over all the dumb shit Donald Trump did? Do we get our jollies out of this? Are we solving any problems? Have we passed $15 minimum wage? Have we done anything about health care? Have we done anything about college debt? Have we done anything? No, but we've spent a ton of time talking about Donald Trump, who hasn't been the president in a long time, and he only is alive because we keep him alive, and he only won because we fucking made him a demon because we thought there's no way he could beat anybody. There's no way he could beat Hillary. That's a joke. And well, you know what happened. So
can we have a new segment called Last Word, second to last word with Greg? Because I have a lot to tear apart about that.
All right, well, that's not the topic for today, Greg.
I know.
That is the last word with Brendan Haggerty. So just for the sake of doing it again, I'm gonna do it again. Just because I like it. That's why.
Because you're on LSD.
This is the last word with Brendan Haggerty.
Unleash your mind, relax, and float.
No talent sip. That's all I can hear now. Every time I hear that.
All right, maybe I'll get rid of the second half where I've done it in reverse, but I was trying.
Maybe it needs some sort of lightning round, like explosion, like the last word with Brendan Haggerty.
Well, that literally was created 10 minutes before the show started. I'm like, all right, I'll put a little thing really good fast. What was that, Greg?
Why did you think a trippy thing like that would be necessary? Why did that pop in your head?
None of the things I do are necessary, Greg. They're just something I do.
I know.
It's basically the concept of you just throw spaghetti against the wall and see if it'll stick or not. You know? It either works or doesn't work. I am willing to make mistakes, Greg. I don't have to pour over things. I don't have to pour over things for minutia to ensure that they're absolutely perfect. I'm willing to go, well, it'll work or it won't work. So we just try it out. It doesn't work. That's why Darling Matt had one shot and it was gone. It's like, oh, that didn't work. So we got rid of that. So
it wasn't just that bad.
Yeah, what did we determine that didn't work on?
It didn't seem like it worked. I guess the Darling Matt thing, because Greg kept saying he hated the name.
Oh.
Oh, because I influenced you that much.
you know, I take other people's points of view.
Dry
I assessed when I realized that I wasn't a huge fan of it either, so I got rid of it.
Okay.
But I mean,
We can still do the segment. I just haven't come up with a better title. That's
Think how bad all the Ask Greg segments have been. And
every single Ask Greg segment, Greg, is phenomenal. Every single one. And we've learned that the last word with Brendan is also phenomenal, so that's not going away either.
Yeah. But we gotta
but I will have to edit the intro a little bit.
We do have to have the last
guy
word for Greg,
yelling at me. What?
I don't know. You guys are talking over each other. I didn't hear what either of you said.
Sorry, I'll shut up. No.
Okay, now both of you won't talk. Anyway. All right, well, our client for today has been video games killed the pinball star. We didn't really get into the whole pinball issue too much, but basically pinball lost its popularity in the golden age of video games, and that's kind of where that went. What else? So we'll be back next week, and then about a week after that, Brendan will be in Oregon, is what seems to be the case. And Greg
will be in my kitchen. We'll all be in my kitchen.
On a milk crate, a milk carton, one or the other.
Where is he? Where did Brendan go?
I'm building. I've pushed a chair up against where people come upstairs. I'm trying to just make it through.
You're not like putting a bunker in place there?
No, not yet.
Did you tell Brendan about Sam?
I have Sam's information.
Okay.
Did I tell Brendan about Sam?
Like in the whole thing.
What?
Not like, I know this guy.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Tell him everything about Sam.
Let's move on. Let's just move on. We can talk about that after.
Did you tell about the gerbils?
After we hang up the call, I'm assuming we've stopped recording.
No, we haven't yet. This has been the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker.
Your consultation with the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker has ended. You may pay your retainer at www.qsblaw.org. Please exit to the right of the water cooler and grab a candy from the front desk. We hope to see you again soon, but you need to leave now. I said leave. Why don't they ever listen? Get out! Get out!